Change it. There you go.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing? Great. We got a couple of friends with us tonight, and but they're always with us, believe it or not. Quick introduction. We are CannaWeTalk 420. We're going to be a series that's going to be on your local access television show, on your television stations. My wife, Helen Yapel, myself, Peter Yapel, we're co-founders and owners of CannaWeTalk 420. And I'll let Helen let you know a little bit about the company, because it's truly her baby that we carry around.
Well, we're cannabis educators. We're activists. We're humanitarian. Was founded with cannabis in mind in the CannaWeTalk, and then 420, it wasn't going to be 420, it was 420. So that's what we are, CannaWeTalk 420. 420 obviously representing something organic like water. That's the direction that we're looking to take our company into. We want to educate the masses on cannabis.
We are already educating them.
And yes, we are.
This is just a better venue for us. We've been a blog talk station on the radio for well over 3 seasons, and we have major followings all over the country. And the part being is that we really need help where we are now. We are true New Yorkers, born, raised here. All of them were to live here their whole lives. Helen and I have had the pleasure of traveling the country. I say pleasure, it was truly out of necessity.
Exactly, not so much pleasurable, because it was out of necessity.
Yeah, to save my life with cannabis. And that's where the passion starts and begins, and owing it to the plant now for the rest of our life. And not only this plant, there are many things out there that we agree with, and we try to relate and make part of everybody's everyday life. Because when we say we want everyone to live a canna lifestyle, it's not solely about cannabis.
It's a culture. It's a way of living. It's clean eating. It's clean living. It's righteous choices. It's things that are good for the spirit, for the mind.
It's positive moving forward. It's understanding that we are part of an energy rather than a whatever. And our positive energy can only promote positivity. And once we learn how to promote positivity, we can do it.
It's about making and teaching each person, you know, one by one on how to look. So many people are in ruts these days, medically induced.
Yes.
There's so many different issues that we're going to be going into. That's what the platform of this show is. We will be having professionals from politicians to doctors to.
But that's not all we're going to be. We want to make this as entertaining for you as possible. We want to make this as family oriented for you as well, because we believe in educating our kids at an early age about the benefits of being holistic and healthy, and questioning your doctors and asking what medications you're on. But we want to make it more of sort of like a variety show. You'll see skits on our show.
And with that being said, let's introduce the rest of our team.
Well, first of all, you know, when everybody says CannaWeTalk, they think Pete and Helen Yapel, and yes, we are CannaWeTalk, but everything that CannaWeTalk does could not happen
without the rest of our team.
And the 2 people that we have with us this evening are Nikki and James Tenney. They're lifelong friends of ours.
Yes.
And
today being their anniversary as well. So
24th wedding anniversary this evening.
Yes, which we just celebrated, had dinner and dessert together, and now we're here with all of you.
But the part we want everyone to know is that, you know, there's so much that goes into to doing something like this, and we don't do it alone. We have to help. There's other people that help us as well. We have a friend of ours, Larry Lawless, that helps us. My mother helps us on occasion. Our kids do. Our daughter Robin films events
Very
for
friend and family oriented group we are.
Yes.
Nikki is a patient.
Yes.
And she's someone who's been where a lot of people are that are still
battling the opiate crisis.
Yeah, just addicted to his prescription pad, being a slave to it.
Right.
And she isn't any longer.
What we want to stress on our show is that we aren't doctors. We never claim to be doctors. We never claim to give medical advice. What we do know is what we experience, we have experienced, what we've seen, what we know from mentors of ours, what we've seen accomplished, how we've helped ourselves with the cannabis plant. What we must let everybody that listens to this show know is that first, cannabis is a plant that is on a Schedule 1 narcotic, which means it has zero medical benefit, which means it is on the same list with heroin. They are saying that the drug is that bad. Yet, we have a government that owns a patent owns a patent. They owned the original patent since 2002 for CBDs. The patent number is 6630507.
Remember that number.
Always remember that number. It'll be on our set when our set is built. Just understand tonight
we're actually doing this from our home. It's our first one. So once we are in the studio, which we will be for the next episode, we will be on a set, and we will be able to do skits on some things, current events that are going on out there. That
it'll be real life comedy to real true issues that we can point how silly they truly are. Like we were all discussing last night. We were all sitting around and the TV's on, and the TV is great for humor. I don't care.
Oh yeah,
you know, it's great for humor. I don't care what you're watching. It's pretty funny. But we're watching, and a commercial comes on that let me know that McDonald's is finally using fresh meat. I want to know what they've been feeding people for the 6 billion that have been served before this. If it wasn't fresh, what was it? I mean, Christmas sakes alive, they're serving fresh food now. Isn't that just big of them?
Bravo!
Let's give it up to McDonald's.
Bravo,
and there are 13 ingredients in their French fries.
Good job.
13 ingredients.
I personally think that McDonald's and Burger King should be banned.
Oh yeah, they're just.
I think that
they're killing the
absolutely.
Children. They're killing our children. They in food in general has destroyed our youth. We have children now at 5 that are having issues with hormonal issues growing. For you,
look at other countries.
5
years
years old,
we have women that are in their 30s, in their prime, that should be having babies left and right, that can't even get pregnant.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all because of what is in our food. This is our intake, and this is what we've been raised on. I mean,
we're spreading our food into other countries.
Right. Now, so these are the kind of things we're going to cover, the type of topics, and the things that we'll do skips about, because there's so much humor in them, and you guys will have fun. We'll have fun making them, and just give us some feedback. Plus, at the same time, we're going to, we have plans to incorporate things that are going to be so that your kids can watch and understand at a very elementary level that using the use of cannabis,
the truth about cannabis,
the use of cannabis in everyone's daily diet is something that was up until only 90 years ago, before white men of power bastardized a plant and had it taken from us, and they created laws and put it on the substance list because they thought that that men of color were going to steal their women. And that's the truth about how cannabis contains, how. And listen, so there's really never been any proof that there's anything wrong with the cannabis plant. And there's one reason why. There is not. The cannabis plant is one thing that has never killed a human being in the world. It's never damaged, harmed, or caused the death of a person. It's the only thing we can say it about. We can't say it even about air that we breathe. So,
or water that we
drink. So we have to understand that we have to let kids know that no, this isn't some dare.
We have to start teaching our children. Right. We can't keep the blinders on raising our kids as, just because it has a stamp from the Food and Drug Administration.
Which is the worst
It's
administration on the
exactly.
planet Earth.
It's got to be golden and it's got to be right.
Right.
That is the wrong way. That is why we're in the situation that we're in.
Right.
And we, as the seniors of this generation,
Right.
are obligated.
We owe it. Yeah.
We are obligated.
Yeah. We have a planet.
Period.
We have a planet that's dying that hemp could only help correct. That, in a 10-year period, hemp can change the soil of an oil-drenched area to fertile growing soil again. 10 years, that's it.
That's right.
It's not with chemical, not with all this other stuff, and not just leaving the land for dead any longer, and animals suffering and wildlife dying, and just a total.
I know how I felt when the farms started closing down. We were growing up.
Yeah.
And I felt the doom of that.
That was our friends.
You
it was
know,
our
I mean, like,
families, yeah.
this is wrong.
Right, this is generations of
Yeah.
our friends' families,
And-
that lineage back hundreds of years, that,
Right.
prior to even us becoming a country here, some of our families have settled here.
Especially in this area.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
exactly, and these
We're in the
farms have
Hudson
been there
Valley,
forever, these farms are, the farms have been here forever, so, of course, James, do you want to go I haven't listened.
Sorry, folks.
Yeah, we have a dog interruption.
Yeah.
So that's what we'll
Really?
do, and we'll bring things so that kids can understand it, but at the same time, you guys will be learning things that you never understood or knew about the cannabis plant.
That's right. And
We'll
that is
erase the
so
stigma
important.
of the 16-year-old mentality about what cannabis is.
Let-
Because if people want to smoke pot, they can. If you want to discuss cannabis, then we can do that as well. And that's what we plan to do and share. And this is Lily, everyone. This is
Yeah,
This is
Lily
the other
is
family
the
member.
mascot. She'll be on the set.
yeah,
Come on, girl.
she can't help. She can't help herself.
No.
But we're also
What she said
too
about that.
a wide open forum, and we want to bring you people what you want to hear. We want to entertain you as well as educate you.
Yep.
Educate you first, but have you be entertained. So if you have any suggestions for the show, any topics that you want us to cover, anything holistic, anything along the lines of the industry, what we can do. And a good thing that you'll learn from us is you're not just going to learn about the plant, you're going to learn about what we have to do to stop anyone from having the right to possess, manufacture, grow, transport, what you name it, with this plant as freely as they can. The word legalization, everyone, is a bad word. You will learn that on
We
our
want
show.
to end
You will
prohibition.
right. You will learn terms on our show so that when you go to vote for
Repeal.
something, you will learn what you're
Decriminalize.
voting for and what not to vote for. What is just another smokescreen from licensing and taxes and government-run stuff. So listen. There's a lot you will learn from us, and we've been a lot of places and seen the turnaround. And we're only here to help you get to where you got to go. We've got sorry.
I want to give them a little bit of background on how we got here. My husband was very, very sick. And we were in Florida probably 4 years ago, right?
And we were already activists, but
Already activists.
But I
Coming
wasn't
off of, he was on a bag full of pharmaceuticals that kept him. He just couldn't do anything. I mean, he could barely hold the conversation. I work part-time to supplement our income. I would come home, it would get to the point where I would come home from work and be so afraid of cutting the corner from entering the door to not know what I'd find. So I chucked my keys down real loud, just kind of make as much noise as I could, because I didn't know if my husband was going to be dead or alive when I walked through the door.
I suffer, first off, what the condition that really brings me down the worst, although I do have many illnesses, and it's very effective in this area. So you will be able to learn how you can treat and have an effective life. It's a neuropathic line.
Yes, and it debilitates him on a daily basis. It's a constant fight. But also with the medications that he was on for over a decade, that just ate his ligaments. His body is been beaten, and it came to a point where I was, we had met some people online that were from out west where it was legal, that were really following, what was going on with Pete, because we were so verbal about it.
This is from our start of our radio show.
Right, at the start of our radio show. So when Pete really started getting sick, it started like falling out, not being on the show so much, and people started reaching out saying, hey, you know what, we think we can help. So when I said, hey, you know what do I got to do? You got to get him here.
Yeah, well,
I said
because at this point in time, they had nothing left but to send me to Mayo and Sloan Kettering to start doing muscle biopsies.
We were at a doctor's at that point who was very open with us with cannabis, even though it wasn't legal at the time in Florida.
Because I told her the street.
Right, and she understood that you know what, this is probably your only option, so please keep me informed, and gave us her her blessing, and we went to Oregon. We went. My husband was on the way saying goodbyes to his mother, to his son.
Yeah, along the way.
Didn't even know if he
went
was
to my
gonna make
son's.
it
It
to
was like my
Oregon.
son's wedding and a goodbye thing.
We didn't even know if he was going to make it to Oregon.
No.
When we got there, we stayed on a farm, on a cannabis farm. It wasn't just cannabis that was growing; it was the majority of what was growing. But it was an organic farm. There was vegetables everywhere. We stayed in an RV on that farm.
Yeah.
And within 2 days of my husband being medicated, I was sitting in another RV with a coworker in the foundation, and we were having a conversation, and I kind of just looked over to the left out the window, and there was my husband walking up the hill with something all over his clothes and walking with purpose. Like I have never seen him.
Cussing and swearing.
I haven't seen him walk like that in quite a while, and I just kind of looked, and I looked again, and I started to cry, and the girl I was speaking with, she said, "What's wrong?" I said, "Look at him." Like I couldn't believe how he was walking. So when I went to meet him in the yard, I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I just laid a concrete floor."
Yeah.
Did you what?
Well, half of one, I had to stop. I couldn't do no more. That's why I left, because I was getting.
But now, mind you, on the trip to Oregon, his bicep dropped while he was driving, like fell in a knot.
Detached. Yeah. I was sick. I was sick.
Very sick.
But this just goes to show that
we're going to explain throughout this show how his journey started in Oregon and what he learned and what he's brought back from that.
Right. Well, that's what I was.
The sponge that he became. With the person
I had to be. That became my purpose. My purpose. Once I had life again, I had to have some direction again. Because when you are that close to death, and that's what you think every day. If you do sleep and wake up, you are surprised you're there again. You got to go through it one more day. But once you get that back, you've got to have some purpose. I mean, the little things you hear or feel when you're in that state that matter rather than don't matter. Believe me, we've simplified our life tremendously. We've gone from, just in 3 years and 3,500 square foot homes to, we would be happy if we were living in a trailer on the road, just traveling around.
Oh yeah, well that's another thing that we're going to be covering throughout this show is simplifying and how important that is for your spiritual health. I mean,
things don't make people and things don't make the person.
We've gotten lost in these past couple generations, and it's time to find ourselves, and that's what we're about.
And it's a hot topic. It's something that's needed to be known now.
Yeah.
Well, let's be realistic. What is there in New York? There is nothing. I mean, there are no resources really, unless you reach out to a government website. And please, believe me, first of all, they're difficult to understand sometimes. But then what do? They simplify it. Now, of course, this drug is so bad at Schedule 1, you can just go online, talk to somebody, pay them $150 and have a card. I mean, come on. Did you vote to have a card? Did you vote to be licensed? What about your HIPAA rights? Who deserves to know how you treat? I don't care what's in your message.
Well, let's start with what program they do have and what they're actually giving you. That would be a great thing to start with.
We'll discuss that too. That's a whole show, people. You'll be surprised.
You'll want to know.
Yeah, you'll be surprised. If you think that when you walk into a dispensary,
absolutely.
I
mean, first it was the pharmaceuticals, and now they're doing this, saying, "Oh yeah, we have your cannabis for you. We'll give you your cannabis."
Yeah, if you walk into a dispensary here and think you're into what a dispensary is, you are just, my gosh, you're walking into a blind McDonald's with freaking with sugar pens and whatever. I mean, come on, man.
We need to fix
hundreds
our
of
policies,
dollars.
our medical policies on marijuana
You're
here. That
spending
is what we
hundreds
are
of
going to
dollars on
change.
5 cents worth of medicine, people. It is ridiculous. The culture and the ways of out west need to be adapted on this coast. Cannabis is not going to hurt anybody and never will. I'd rather see somebody walk down the road with a joint hanging out their mouth than drinking a beer. Okay, I'd rather see somebody, pull off a pen, a dab pen with real true wax and hash oil in it that is purely made, which can be done even with ethanol. People, those things can be done clean and purely. But this is the things that people need to be offered. That they can. It's just available on the West Coast. Edibles, drinks, food sources.
And that's what's imperative about cannabis. It needs to be ingested in different fashions, not.
Right. You will learn watching this show that we're all different when it comes to cannabis because we all metabolize the plant at a different rate, at different ways, and lots of factors are key in our consumption, and not only just our consumption, but our what the effects will have with our body. You know, what our conditions are, what we're trying to treat, which strains we need, whether we need a sativa or we need an indica, whether we need a hybrid. You know, these are all things that we don't remember because we were never taught. You understand? Like when we think of pot, we think of, especially people at our age, when they think of cannabis and they haven't smoked cannabis or used cannabis medicinally, their only perception is sitting around when we were 20, teenagers smoking pot and
Gangland. Stoner equals stupid.
And
it's just so not. That's not the case.
That's why.
It is.
That's why you'll always hear me, or 90% of the time, 99% of the time, well, 100% of the time, if I'm speaking of someone's health, speak of cannabis as cannabis. You know, I don't care if call it weed, marijuana, smoke, whatever.
I always say cannabis.
But I always say cannabis.
I might say pot.
Because when I say pot, I'm talking about smoking a joint or smoking a bowl. You know what I mean? Like when I say pot, when you guys hear me say pot, it's because I'm talking about smoking a bowl or smoking a joint.
Right.
That's when I use the word.
Right. That's what I just said. Yes.
No.
It's just that's my slang for cannabis.
But cannabis and cannabis health has nothing to do with smoking pot. Smoking pot, yes, can help with, like if you're smoking a good strain like Blue Dream or something, can help with fibromyalgia and such. Yeah, yes, that's true, it can give you relief. But your medicating with cannabis is not done through smoking pot. I mean, a flower might not even be present ever in your life. There are oils, there are sublingual sprays, there are waxes, there are different edibles. As I said, there are drinks, there's cooking with, there's eating raw plant, there's juicing.
And all of these are important and are absolutely, and they're all, and everybody's situational. You don't know until.
Because I can eat an edible and nothing happens to me. I mean, like the edibles that are bought. But there's other people, I might not think you're rich to say, but there's other people out there that eat like a 50 milligram, edible and they're wrecked. And I'm just like, well, I don't get that. But that's all about how we metabolize it, what I was saying.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ricky.
Yeah.
Well, I just think honestly it's important too for us to cover all different topics because I started this journey. And
how long ago? Tell everybody how long ago.
I'd say about 4 months ago, really,
Yeah,
4 or 5 months
Okay,
ago.
I'll correct her.
Okay,
She started the journey about a year and a half.
I did, yes.
Because the journey always starts with the first step, and that's asking somebody, hey, does that really work for you?
I didn't make a full
And that's the first step.
Right.
Her
Slowly,
real recovery, where
right.
she's been opiate free, has been 4 months or so.
Right. That's true. You're right.
And that's
And
such
it is,
a big,
and that is
and
affordable. It's more than
that is
affordable. It's,
absolutely.
that's
It
what
really
it's
is.
about.
It really, and I just I just think it's important for people to go. We gotta discuss these topics.
Yeah.
And I don't want people to get discouraged if they're on this path.
Let me
But
pose
you're
a
here to
question.
show exactly that it's real. This works.
Yes.
Look,
It is.
can I pose it's a generalized statement, truly, but it's kind of a question at the same time, because you will get an answer kind of to it. It's a bit rhetorical. But don't you have to admit that once you committed to a treatment plan and didn't waver from it and committed to it just like you did your pill regimen,
Yes.
that's when you start.
That's key.
That's what's key, correct?
The commitment is key.
It's figuring it out, just like how we had started in the doctor's office, figuring out milligrams and
How many times a day and when we're
Yes.
taking them and what we're taking at different
Yes.
times. But it's committing to using the plant rather than using pharmaceuticals.
And making the changes, the necessary. She
Right.
made the changes also. She knew that she had to make changes in her diet. She's diabetic.
Right.
I mean, you know, and how many of us are, you know, have something like that requires a proper diet or medication, and she's correcting this with food and cannabis.
And do you want to know why that happens? It happens genuinely for this reason. When we are no longer medicated with opiates, when we are no longer, when we are finally realizing that the pains that we're feeling are mock pains that aren't even existent. Because how do you go to the doctor with starting out with a hurt back and then all of a sudden now your legs are a mess, your arms are a mess, you can't move your neck? How is this happening if you didn't re-injure yourself? Okay, you didn't get into another catastrophic injury. It doesn't happen. The opiates are killing you, but what happens when you start to feel better because you're not taking them and you're treating with cannabis, everything starts to feel better. So you start to go, wow, you know, boy, I really wasn't eating good because when you're depressed and sitting home in your bed, burning holes in your covers and your sheets because you're nodding off with a cigarette in your hand.
Done it
Easy,
many times.
it happens. Don't tell me it doesn't.
Been
You
there.
know, it's not something to be ashamed of right this minute. Okay, and I say that for a reason, because after you realize what you did to yourself and allowed yourself to do, and you are clean, and you are, whether it's treating with cannabis or not, whether you're just clean and free of that opiate, that's what you'll say to yourself.
That's right.
That's what you'll say. You'll hate yourself for it. But don't do it right now. Just feel good that you want help, and there's help out there at www.CannaWeTalk420.com. That's CannaWeTalk 42, the small O, and then .com. Please, ma'am. Our services are there. We help out. We'll come speak at events. We teach now at the Holistic Healing Studio in Sugarloaf, New York. Thank you, Denise Forza. Once a month, we're out there with a class. We just had an incredible class this past week. It was this past week,
June 22nd.
where we simulcasted a young lady and brilliant mind in the
From the
cannabis
West
industry
Coast.
from the West Coast, who taught how to make your own oils right in your own home with small amounts of cannabis, not large
And
amounts.
inexpensive.
Yes, in inexpensive ways. Right.
So important, because my God, people, when
And
you
clean and
realize,
healthy in the right way, not just some cheap, dangerous
and when
form.
you realize the things that you're finding, the cannabis and the CBD oils that you're finding online and the prices that you're finding are inflated, gold price
Listen,
inflated. Like,
and you really need to know what you're
300%
looking for when you're
inflated.
doing that. People
You
can buy
do.
snake oil all the time.
and that's what we're going to help you with.
And we'll help you, guide you to proper. You
Yes,
ever
please.
need good products?
Yeah,
You
stay
know
away from the gas station.
I'll tell you now, if you ever of our other, the other side of our, well, it's not / business, what else that Helen and I stand proud, and Nikki and James as well, stand proud behind is the
Products
Human
that we
Solutions
use.
and the Human Solutions International. The Human Solution International is a 501c3 civil and human rights organization that believes nobody should be in jail for a plant. We do all we can to stand behind people that are incarcerated for victimless crimes such as cannabis. If the plant is solely the reason, we're going to fight for them 100%.
And the Human Solution it originated in California, but is here in New York State, and we are the chapter coordinators, and our chapter is Solidarity Over Separation.
Right.
SOS.
Yeah, Solidarity Over Separation. You can find us as well. That's on our website as well. All our
And those
links
services are also
as well as the True Human Solution, or the the home organization.
Yeah, all of that
It is on there. Joe Grumbine is an incredible human being. Been working with Joe in the industry for years. Finally got to meet him face to face and shake hands with him. We did a TV show actually together a few weeks back, and just a pleasure to meet him in person as it's been to deal with him for 5 years.
Yeah.
And he was everything he ever portrayed himself to be.
Which is so refreshing.
And he got to meet him too. They got to spend some time with him, and even though it was a short time, we all got to spend some time together. But Joe was incarcerated, and Joe has been incarcerated with the plan. Joe's beat his charges, and he formed this organization for that very reason, that, for support, for people to be there, for people to stand behind, for the judges and our DAs and such to see the community is backing behind people. People aren't doing anything wrong. There's a gentleman, Craig Cecil, that's in Indiana or Idaho or Indiana. And Craig is serving life in prison. He's never even used the cannabis plant. So, but he's serving life in prison for cannabis
crimes
because
that are being committed against these so-called criminals.
When
they're not even the crimes being done to them.
I know, but listen, listen to what I'm saying to you. This gentleman is serving life in prison without the possibility of parole, for being a mechanic on a truck that transported cannabis.
That happened because he didn't cooperate.
You look and see that there are people that have in our streets right now that have to register on a list called a sex offenders list.
Mm-hmm.
They're registered out here, still out here, and probably served zero time.
That's right.
And here's a gentleman that worked on a truck that transported cannabis and is going to jail for life without the possibility.
It's disgusting.
It really is.
It's unacceptable.
That was the charges.
It's criminal. It's all those things.
We also have another couple that we follow every single day. They are chapter coordinators of the Creative Care Beacon in Ohio, the Human Solutions Creative Care Beacon in Ohio, Glenn Keeling and Peggy Sue Kimmel. They're fighting their own case, even though they still stay strong and chapter coordinators.
And they're there for others.
And they're fighting case as legitimate registered cannabis card holders that had their home invaded by the police and all their product taken. They were within the guidelines of the law, but it doesn't matter. They can do whatever they want. Because remember, everything that you believe is legal is not legal. Because the federal government has a little kibosh on us called the Controlled Substance List. And Schedule 1 drugs is where cannabis is, which means it has no medicinal value, it can't be tested, it can't be used, it can't be in any way, shape, or form. It's a felony. You go to jail for a long time. But we can molest children and have to put our name on a list. Tell me how fair that is. Tell me how safe you feel now.
There's just so many of these systems set up for failure. It's just one after the other, and the other, after the other, after the other. Absolutely. I'm kind of tired of it. And that's what we're here to do, is to make changes like that.
Right.
Get people on board to do what we're doing. And
well, just to bring some clarity to what is. I mean, listen, when a lot of you hear how silly, how one-sided, how lopsided, how completely wrong, how completely unfounded, how completely everything that is in your world in existence when it comes to the cannabis plant is, you will be strikingly surprised of how much you've been lied to, how much you've been bamboozled.
You'll be really angry.
And honestly, when you're going to die and hold a Ziploc bag of pills up as big as your head that are supposed to be saving your life, but that's what's killing you, and you trade it for a syringe of oil that has done nothing but give me health and life. I mean, come on.
It's-
And not only that, people, what you don't have to understand, what you will learn.
It's
and then
afforded
what
him
you
the
can tell
strength
your
to
children.
sit here for the hour with you,
Cannabis
which he
is
couldn't do
so
before.
good
And
and
either
vital.
could she.
Cannabis is so good and vital to you people. It's part of your DNA.
Yeah.
That's something you might not know. Cannabis and the cannabinoids that work in the cannabis plant and keep us healthy, keep our endocannabinoid system healthy and up and running, and keep our bodies what they are a part of every strand of DNA within your body. How can ingesting something that has 100 common properties as you and none fatal, not on the LD list, there's no LD for cannabis, there's an LD for water.
Right.
Lethal dose, that means. That's the scale that everything's measured on. There
It
can't be a
mimics
lethal dose. Nobody's ever
our
died from
body.
it.
The cannabis plant mimics us.
You can't die from something. We don't know what a lethal dose of cannabis is. I mean, nobody's ever died from it. Believe me, people have ingested a tremendous amount of cannabis.
Something's falling on you.
Yeah, like that's the only way, right? If you get ran over by a truck carrying it, it falls on you, you know, something like that. You know, somebody shoves an ounce down your throat and chokes you, clogs your airway. I mean, you know, but these aren't cannabis's fault. This is the people doing it, you know.
Right.
Like, you know,
I
nobody
mean,
ever
the
told
only thing
anybody
that I
to
can
be a Tide
think is
Pod.
maybe an allergy.
It's
You
gonna
know?
be
Yeah, there might be.
extreme.
There might be.
It might be. It could be possible, but
I don't know.
You know,
I
But I don't know
No.
if that is possible.
I don't know.
I don't know. But listen, too, you know, another thing we're going to do on our show,
Another thing
and we
is
find
We're gonna
very
be
important,
learning about it.
because another big passion of ours is music
Yes.
and talent in general, artists. We love local
Yes.
artists. We've got a wall, actually.
Yeah,
look
you
up
can't
above
really see
and
all of
see,
them,
But that's all
there is
local
some all
artists
local
and,
artists,
yeah.
family
some family
members.
members, and
Yeah.
then just friends, and then people we just have seen their art and how
I
we
love it.
picked it up. But we want a local talent. That's how we're going to close our show every week, with someone from the community
From
that
the
wants to
community,
come on
yeah.
and share their talent, whether it be music, whether it be art, whether it be poetry, whatever it is. You know, we'll give you close the show out at the end of the evening.
Comedy.
Um,
I love comedy.
Oh yeah, anything you do. Just remember, we do have 2 rules.
Oh,
We
yeah.
only have 2 rules on our show. Well, actually, we have more than 2 rules, but 2 rules for the actual production and viewing and showing of TV is that there is no swearing or nudity. They're the only 2 things that we don't allow on our show. You have to dress properly, and you have to, keep a clean mouth. It's very difficult for me.
It's very difficult for me, especially when I get passionate about a topic.
Oh, especially coming
But-
from the platform that we came from.
Yes.
Especially, we could be as passionate as we wanted. The F word was a third, so it was just like a period, I think, in a sentence. But if we were able to be that passionate about it, you'll see the same passion. You'll still get the same feel.
Yeah, but we'll do our best
Yes.
to watch
And
our
that's all
mouths.
we ask our guests to do is just respect the same rules. that we
But we're
have.
not very politically correct.
No, you'll never hear that word.
I'm
We're
not a big fan
political.
of politically
Listen,
correct.
we are so
Political
sick and
correctness.
tired of marshmallows. We are tired of people being cream puffs. We're
Yeah.
tired of everybody's
Suck it
feelings
up,
being
people.
hurt.
That's what I
Everybody,
say.
everything you
Suck it up.
everything you say or do. And listen,
I
it's
got
not
thick
that
skin.
we're not
I hope
passionate.
you all do.
We have supported every movement probably that has had good cause.
Yeah.
LGBTQ. I mean, we've done cannabis.
Look,
movements,
I've
we've
been
done
raised where
anything
there's
that is,
there's right and there's wrong.
natural. We follow all any
to be
And this is just what I feel in my core.
But
You
that
know, there's
doesn't
right
mean
and there's wrong.
That doesn't mean like at least you the whole thing of the water problem and Flint and all that stuff. I mean, we've been a part of all that stuff. But listen, I'm not going to sit back. I just had somebody say to me the other day, and I won't mention who it is because I love it. But was saying something about like all these teams being named after, having Indians run around the field and stuff. And listen, to me, that's just getting a little bit too. I mean, if you're that sensitive, if somebody's got an Indian mascot. I mean, come on, are all the raccoons in the world and dolphins and marlins and whatever else that we've got out there that's a mascot, you're gonna get pissed off. I mean, you can't get mad at everything, people.
I know.
And
I
the
mean,
only way not
come
to
on and look
offend
at all these
anyone
statues
is-
that are coming down because
Yeah,
people are offended by this. This is history.
Right, it doesn't
Our
matter
history
if it's
cannot
your
be
history.
changed
Right, it doesn't matter if it's your history or if you like
regardless
your
of what
history,
you
it's
put up
still
and take
history.
down.
That's
I
true.
mean, you know,
So
this is another problem.
let's start focusing on what's really important. And that's saving where we live, because not for nothing, all our problems would be just a moot.
I don't believe any of these kids should be separated from their parents at the borders. I don't. But listen, we have that problem every day here in America where kids are torn out of homes because parents choose a holistic way to treat rather than to treat with drugs and freaking and stuff from the pharmacy that's going to kill you, and it has side effects that are worse than the medications you're taking.
Lifelong
and your
side
kids
effects.
can get into your medication and they can get sick and die just the same, or end up that kid on the street corner buying dime bags. You don't understand this. This is this simple to happen. We can't allow this no more.
No, and we can't do things like safe injection sites and think that that's
Unless
the answer.
we do a safe injection site with a holistic healing stent
Option.
but here's your choice.
Yes, instead of, okay, if you're gonna do a pilot, now this whole pilot thing that they're doing in the city, this pilot program with these safe injection sites are very scary to me. Now knowing that they're giving out Narcan here in the Hudson Valley, they're giving it away. Only tells me that the pilot program is moving its way up the state. If you're going to give someone Narcan, you're giving them a safe place to inject and get high, that is taking the fear of death away from them. And that's probably the one thing that keeps them riding that line. You're taking that. Now there is no line. Now it's just, you know what, I can get as high as I want. Yeah, I can do this big bump because they're going to save me. Now, when you're going to save them with this shot of Narcan, then you're going to go and give them a clean needle to go get it again, rather than say, now there's a holistic solution. You will never have to come back to this tent again.
Listen, everybody here in the Hudson Valley, listen.
You will never have to deal with withdrawal.
Listen, we don't have safe injection sites up here, and we're probably never going to see them because we're probably going to all stay down the road to city, and that's where people will flock to do it in 7 minutes. So that, even though that is a huge issue, what the problem is this what we want to be our solution?
Oh, really?
Rather than to just educate people early, get them early, let them know that there is a way that they can stop using opiates without any symptoms of withdrawal. And if they really want to quit and stay off it, we can manage, people in the industry as well, can manage, wherever you are, I'm talking about in this country, can manage a cannabis program, regimen for you to keep you off the drug, to satisfy the high in the beginning, so that you don't have to worry about being high or that need or want to
getting sick.
But you won't be sick, and God knows that's the biggest fear of every addict is
I don't want to get sick. And that is the cause for all the relapses. The majority of the time.
An opiate problem. If you have a problem with any pharmaceuticals, Xanax, antidepressants, you name it, anything. Look at people. You're going to be taking something for breathing. If you just listen to this commercial on TV, you're killing yourself taking what you're taking. The side effects and damage that these things can do to you are worse than the disease you have yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, amazingly enough, there's normally a treatment involving cannabis that you can use.
That's right.
Now, every time we mention cannabis, mind you, 90%, or I'm saying 90%, because I don't like to use that number because it's a too high a number, just in my opinion. But most of your conditions and symptoms and things can be managed with cannabinoids or cannabinol and other CBDs. You don't need THC to fight a lot of illnesses, a lot of things that cause us discomfort, and things that we can control our appetite, we can control whether we want to eat more or eat less. Don't think that it just makes you want to eat more. There are strains of cannabis that you won't ever want.
That's probably one of the biggest fallacies.
So
I hate hearing it.
Listen.
Munchies.
Listen, right. So
You know?
Any type of eating disorder you can have, the cannabis plants, it's all strain directed. But learning and teaching our kids this stuff at early age, I think, is where we've all missed the boat. I think we need to go back to where, listen, our grandparents and great grandparents, they may stand tall and fast against cannabis, but little did they know they treated with it all.
That's right.
It was in every medicine that they took. They never complained about medicine when they were young, or said their medicine got them high. We only get high when we add THC, people. That's when we get high. But THC is a vital cannabinoid.
Yeah,
it's just another cannabinoid, but it's very vital. I mean, if you've got family with Alzheimer's or dementia and you're against THC, you don't want anything to do with helping helping them. But anyway,
which is a whole other topic we need to discuss, because I think people need some education on these.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's what we're here for.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
That's what we're here
And
for.
we should go over these things.
Yeah.
Listen. We are blessed to have traveled this country, and in doing so, we have met industry professionals that are well far beyond it.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're a patient, please, contact the International Cannabis Patients Wall on Facebook. They're a great group of ladies. They'll put a brick on the wall. You'll have a virtual brick of your illness and of your name and where you're from, and that you support cannabis and that cannabis supports you. The wall's there to support you, just like you're there to be another brick in the wall to help hold us all up. So that, and like I was saying earlier, if you have an opiate issue, if you have an opiate problem,
Please
you
reach
have
out if you
a
want to
loved
change
one
that.
with an opiate problem.
Yeah.
If you're tired of taking pharma, if you want to see change in your life, if you want to just hear the truth about cannabis, you don't have to switch. I will never force anybody to switch their life or change. It's your decision. Just your decision whether you do chemotherapy or you treat with cannabis oil. It's everybody's choice at what they want to do, but at least listen to what you might not know.
That's right.
Learn something about what other people might have experienced, seen, researched. I mean, 7 years intensely I've studied this plant. It's such an amazing plant. I mean, everything about the plant is amazing. And having been afforded the chance to live amongst it, you know what I mean? Like, I was just part of the forest when I lived in the RV, you know what I mean? There was cannabis everywhere.
It was so therapeutic.
But it is. When you're growing your
own.
own medicine, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You're going to rely on nobody else but some dirt God loves, some sunlight, and some water? I got to love life then, don't you? But, and that's a lot of things that's got to change, and we'll discuss that too. Another great thing too is that we're, sponsorships. We definitely, if you, we'll sponsor your business on the, you can sponsor your business here on our show. Get in touch with us about that too. Very affordable, very, very affordable. And we can discuss things like that on air, but just, it's something to think about. We, public access TV, we have found, I got him, so that's what. Public access TV, as we have found, is a great forum because it's us. We all live here. We're, as James said earlier, we are a community. That's what our show's about. Our show's about forming community. Cannabis culture out west, a cannabis community out west is just like the non-cannabis community out west. Everybody exists together in harmony with the same goal, keeping a pretty landscape where people are healthy, fed, clothed, and all productive and positive. And I think we could adapt some of that here.
Of course, we could.
Well, with education, we will,
Right.
because once the facts are known and you truly understand, and that's what we're trying to do, is break it down in layman's terms,
Right.
so that everybody can understand,
And get on board.
and Nikki can. She's just lived this, so she knows, first and foremost, just like we do, but she's brand new and she's living it right now.
Experience, and yeah, we need to
We all have a
Share the
story.
knowledge.
That's right.
and
We all have a story, that's
We all-
right.
Get on the
You know, we
same
all have a
page.
story, and
We
listen,
definitely
some
do.
are uglier than others and some are unimaginable. But we all, there's relief and there's life at the end of every time.
Yes.
Just remember that. As long as you wake up every day, you got a reason to live. Well, listen, everyone, it's great to
That's
just
the end
sit
of
down.
this, right?
Yeah, just to sit down and, just so you guys can get to know us a little bit more personally this first show. Get a good idea of what's going to be coming. I'll offer up your suggestions, offer up your topics. If you want to be a guest on our show, if you have a story, please reach out to us.
www.CannaWeTalk420.com.
Yep. And that's how you can always get us. Helen,
And if you like the show, write in.
yeah, write in,
Absolutely.
tell someone.
Right,
you know.
Comments or-
Yeah. I mean, listen, we only serve one purpose in life, and that's to serve.
To pay it forward.
That's right, and that's what we all do. I'm paying forward from my half. Nikki's paying
We're
forward. from hers,
trying to be
everybody-
the change we want to
Yes.
see in the world, as Gandhi said.
Right. Absolutely.
And with that,
And with that, we're going to say goodnight for tonight from CannaWeTalk 420 TV. And we'll
be
see
good
you.
to each other.
Yeah, we'll see you
Yes.
next week.
Yeah.
Next week, hopefully, we'll have a whole set built and things will be different. If not, you'll get us again. Peace, everyone, and
Peace
have a
out.
great evening.
So now we should look through and see how to edit it.
Yep, I really don't even think we have to. I think
I'm
I'll show my.
No, you do. You need to look through.